All right. So today we are going to talk about, understanding your business model. So before anything, I just want to go ahead and cover a couple of things here before we get started. Number one, thank you guys for joining. If you're watching this live, once again, say hi, leave comments. We already said hi to you, Christine. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Let us know where you're watching from and what you hope to learn out of today's presentation. Um, if you're watching this as a replay, same thing. Just let us know where you're watching. If you're watching the replay either in our Facebook group, on LinkedIn, or through YouTube, just let us know where you are, what you're doing, what uh what you understand about all of this. So we are going to briefly talk about today. Hey Sergio, thanks for watching. All right. We're going to talk today about, you know, um, your business model, understanding it, why it's important, and, what couple of quick tips as to, so you can kind of go over it. Those of you that are interested after this presentation and learning more, please, by all means, register for our live lunch and learn training series. We're doing them via video, on Zoom. You can register at our website. Um, and we are also doing live sessions. This is a weekly series. So just you can come to our website, you can see what the schedule is. This coming February 4th, depending on when you watch this, we're talking about business model analysis. And next week on February 11th, 2025, we're going to be covering a incredibly important topic for home care agencies, and that's how you create systems within your agency. All right. So you can come through, take a look. Our virtual sessions are now. They've started last week. Our live sessions, if you want to come out to Plainfield, Indiana, and take a look, and sit in with us, we're going to start doing those in March. Okay. And those presentations, everybody's going to get a lot of information. Those of you that have attended my classes before know I tend to go a little bit extra when it comes to that. So there it is. There's a link in the description below if you want to sign up and register. But for now, let's go ahead and get started. Enough with a shameless plug. And let's talk about what is your business model as it relates to home care. And let's talk a little bit about why it's so important. So we're covering, just to kind of give you the context here, we're going to cover, you know, what the business model is, what a business model assessment is, and what implementation is of, if you're doing anything with your business model. We're also going to cover 5 points very specifically that are um, as to why you need to understand your business model as a home care agency owner, and you can go from there. So those of you that are watching, please, give us a like, share this video, invite people if you're watching this live to watch this, and if you're watching the replay via our YouTube channel or anything, please share this video. This is very important information for home care agency owners at all levels, right? Mostly we're going to talk a little bit about this, but so when we're talking about business model in the context of home care, right? We're talking about what defines how you create, deliver, capture value through services. All right. So your home care business model outlines what your revenue streams are. What are you private pay? Are you private insurance? Are you VA? Are you Medicare? Are you Medicaid? What is it that how are you taking money in from payer sources? What is your cost structure? This is especially important when we're talking about the when we're talking about private pay space. How are you how are you how are you pricing yourself? You know, and that's going to directly impact those two things, what your target clientele is And ultimately, what is your USP, your unique service proposition? Okay, what are you offering? So this will directly impact, you know, all sorts of things. Understanding this will, if you have a proper understanding and you're able to assess this, you're going to be able to maximize your profitability. Okay. Um, knowing, where your resources are going to go and, what exactly needs to happen in the day to day. Like, for example, if I am primarily a Medicaid biller, do I have enough secondary revenue streams to sustain extended periods of times without receiving payment? Okay. So, this is part of what's going to help you understand all of this. So this is why you need to assess what your business model is. So, by definition, a business model assessment, it's just a structured review of your foundational elements. You want to make sure that everything aligns with your market need and what your specific strategic objectives are. Okay, this includes taking a look at your financial viability. Are you making money? Okay, that's plain and simple. Is your business producing enough for you to sustain long-term progress, additional staff growth, everything else? It's going to help you understand your operational efficiencies, okay, and what your competitive positioning is. Also, understanding your business model and periodically assessing this. This is not just one and done. You don't just open the door, here we are, let's get moving. This is something you have to continuously do. My recommendation is that you do an in-depth business assessment, business model assessment annually. Make it part of your year end or your start of year functions. Hey, let's take an example. If we're going to do a end of year review for our staff, hey, great. This is what happened in 2020, 2024 since it's over. Let's take a look. Let's go move forward with this, and let's take a look at A, B, and C. Make it part of the assessment. This way you can give to all stakeholders, all those involved or directly impacted by your business, something to look forward to. Your clients will love to have the transparency of where your business is going, what your model is, all of this stuff. Your referral partners. I'm not saying you're going to give detailed financial information to anybody. What I'm saying is you're doing a review and summarizing your findings and where you're going to improve and everything is going to help. It's also, especially for those in states that are highly regulated or those with agencies that perform highly regulated services or have payer sources in the Medicaid space, the Medicare space, or the VA, you know, um, it it will allow you take a look at, you know, identify your strengths and weaknesses and improvement opportunities when it comes to regulatory compliance. Having an understanding of all of the stuff that you have to know will improve all of this. And then the third final part, is implementation. Okay, so now we know what our business model is. We have fully assessed our business model and we've identified particular changes that need to be made. How are we going to implement these changes? That is the process of putting everything that you assess and all the refinements you made into the business model, putting it all into action. Establishing clear procedures, assigning the responsibilities. If you find that you're lacking um, technological assistance, upgrading your systems. Maybe you hyper focused on private pay and you're trying to introduce, you know, um, Medicaid, Medicare, or VA, and now you need to have EVV compliance. All of these things that you're taking a look, you have to be able to understand if your technology needs to be upgraded. What additional training does your staff need? What metrics are going to help you put together all of these things in your business? What do you need to start monitoring that maybe you weren't monitoring before? Maybe you were primarily focused on, the Medicaid space, and now you wanted to start introducing private pay services, or maybe you were primarily focused on personal care, and now by trade you may be a nurse or a social worker or a physical therapist, and you want to bring in, care management. Do you need to upgrade your licensing, or what can functions can you do under your current licensing, so on and so on and so on. So once you have your assessment done, you've recognized where your shortcomings are, you need to start to implement these things. Your goal is to maintain the highest quality care, maintaining regulatory compliance, and not losing any of your profitability as your agency grows and adapts to the changing market. you know these are things that agencies really need to understand. They really need to start working towards. And just the five top benefits that comes with it are: number one, maximizing profitability. By you understanding what your revenue streams are, understanding what it actually costs you, you know, um, per hour to maintain your structure, or if you're in a different type of environment, maybe you're not billing by the hour, maybe you're billing, weekly or daily. You know, if you understand what the cost structures are to providing the service, do you know what the core drivers, what's really pushing your business in that particular direction? Knowing this, you're going to be able to make decisions that will allow you to reduce waste in your company, that will allow you to um, better allocate resources, and to better streamline your operations. So what do I mean by that? Well, if I'm servicing, 65 clients and I have four schedulers to do this, am I really optimally running my business? There may be a reason why you feel you need them, but let's take a look at what what my billing is coming in and versus what I'm taking out of my business. And this is what's going to help you push forward growth. All right. So everybody, give me a thumbs up if you're still with me, and if you're watching this on YouTube, just give us a like if you understand, and if all of this is starting to make sense. And if you guys do have any questions, we will do a follow-up video on this. If you haven't joined us live, you know, um, by all means, leave a comment below and we'll address questions with this as much as possible. And if we get enough questions, we will do a follow-up video. All right. So number two, by assessing your business, you will be able to improve your operational efficiency. Okay. So clearly understanding your business model and was going to help you really shed light on whatever gaps you have in your workflow. Okay. This is something that, for example, like understanding that your business is more driven towards private pay or more driven towards Medicaid, it's going to help you with your caregiver and client matching. Because one of the things, if anybody's been following me for a while or have heard me go over this, or actually most people out there in the consulting space will tell you, the caregivers that you're hiring or bringing on board when you're dealing primarily with Medicaid clients are not going to be the same caregivers that are going to work when you're bringing on private pay clients. The same thing happens if your business is primarily functions under the premise of supplemental staffing. Let's say that is your primary income source. They're not going to be the same caregivers. Why? Well, because the reality is some caregivers excel in a home, others excel in a facility structure. It depends on the individual caregiver. There are some caregivers that I've worked with over the years that just do not like working private pay. They don't believe that the people who take private pay services necessarily treat them fairly. There are some people that don't want to commute. There's a lot of things going on in there. And if you're not understanding your particular business model, your recruitment's going to suffer. Your caregiver matching is going to suffer. So you understanding this is going to help overall operational efficiency and it's going to improve your matching process. Also going to improve your scheduling process. How far do your caregivers live from the clients? Or do you have a good handle on that? So all of this is going to help you better allocate these resources and generally streamline your operations. Number three, it's going to enhance your competitive position. Okay. So knowing your business model is going to help you more clearly define your market differentiators. For example, do you have specialized care programs? Do you have superior customer service? What is it that helps you stand out in this really highly competitive industry and find and retain client loyalty? You know, understanding all aspects of your business model are going to help you put these things in place. Okay. They're going to help you better define what your ideal client is. So I say this a lot in different classes and in my one-on-one stuff when I work with individuals. Yeah, there's a couple of things you have to be able to answer. All right. Number one is what sets you apart. And the easiest way to do that is to think about the referral partners you're working with. Many of them get bombarded. Let's just take your average social worker in a skilled nursing facility or, a director of nursing or somebody in there that's going to be a potential referral partner. They are seen by home care, private pay home care. They are seen by Medicaid home care. They are seen by Medicare agencies. They are seen by home health companies, which are skilled. They are seen by hospice, pharmaceutical. They're seen by DME. They are seen by a number of other vendors for different products and services that are all going after the same target client. They are seen by independent living facilities, by assisted living facilities, and all this wave of vendors interrupts them depending on which market you are. I've talked to social workers in some markets that they get bothered by as many as 20 to 30 interruptions a day. So ask yourself, if I was on the other side of that desk, am, is what a rep for my agency, I mean, put yourself in this place. You're sending somebody out to do this business development and marketing. Is what they are telling the person on the other side of the desk, that referral partner, enough to get them interested and to refer to you, to your agency, over the other 30 plus people that potentially will see them daily or weekly? If you do not have a clearly defined service offering, if you do not have a clearly defined business model, then you will never be able to verbalize this or communicate it properly to your sales team. And your sales team will not be able to communicate it properly to the referral partners. Then what's going to ultimately happen there is your referrals or the flow of referrals is not going to be as as much as you want. Let me put this into a real life example here. All right. So if I am in a particular market and I have a number of competitors in that market, you know, what is ultimately going to happen? They're going to get visited. Am I a discounter? Is that my business model? Am I so accustomed to working with the low margins of Medicaid that I'm going to offer private pay at Medicaid rates? That's possible. It's an approach. Or am I going to kind of go in the middle of the road there and offer the bulk of my services in in a more competitive fashion? Meaning, I'm going to do some market research. I'm not the cheapest. I'm not the most expensive. I'm somewhere in the middle, and that's where I want to live. Is that where I'm competing, or am I a premier service? Am I coming in on average, $3 to $10 an hour above my competitors, but I have such a solid offering or unique offering that people will still come to me, but I'm now trying to scale my business by reducing my client load and increasing my overall profits. So which model am I taking? Now, if I'm not clear about it, or if my model is too jumbled, I am not going to be able to tell my salespeople, hey, this is what we need to push. And they're not going to feel comfortable going and pushing it. I actually very recently, and say, I'm recording this on Saturday, February 1st. Um, I this we're talking about, I think it was Thursday the 30th. I was speaking with a client and we were going over some of the calls from the salespeople when that client inquiry calls and things like this, things of that nature. It was a discussion between the salesperson and a referral source. Well, what ended up happening is that there was such little clarity on behalf of the client as to what the business model actually was, what the value proposition actually was, that the call was completely botched. Okay, they there was really such a lack of value that immediately after listening to that call, instead of focusing on repairing the issue, we had to focus on I had to focus on working with my client and then tell them how to call that referral partner immediately to try to fix that problem, right? Because the, they lost faith in the company. So that is something that you want to make sure you know your market differentiators, and by understanding your business model on that level is going to greatly enhance your competitive position. Number four, I hope I'm still at number four. I completely lost track here. All right, but let's assume it is. It's going to help you align with compliance and regulation. So understanding your business model means that you know, assessing and understanding them, that you've gone through all your policies, you understand what your procedures are, what documentation is needed, and by assessing everything, you'll have gone through and see what you need to put more in place. What do you need to put in place to ensure that you are in compliance? Your policies up to snuff? Are your procedures up to snuff? Does all your documentation align with state, federal, and other administrative policies and regulations? Believe me, you want to go through this yearly, audit yourself, hire somebody to do it, whatever it is you need to do. Um, and in the end, what it can do is cause you a lot of unnecessary expense. Just recently got a call on Friday from an agency down in Florida that the way they found out that they're not in compliance is because the state did an audit and came in, and now they're at risk of losing their license. I had to make a referral to somebody for compliance. That's not really something my company does, but these are things that had they been on top of this and had they consistently been able to um, assess their business model and review things, these things would not have they wouldn't have found themselves in that situation. So finally, we're you know point number five. Okay, I'm hoping I didn't skip one. If I did, somebody let me know in the comments, please. All right, but number five is it'll help you drive strategic growth. So the better you understand your model, the better that your base is going to be. So, if I have a very clear understanding of all aspects of my business model, and I want to introduce new service offerings, or if I want to scale by improving my service offerings or improving packages, you know, what other opportunities do I have? What investments can I make in technology to help streamline my operations? What is the most sustainable path for growth? All right. And that is basically where we are. And those are the five major points why you should understand your business model. And just as a quick recap here, you know, um, business model basically, it's how your agency creates and delivers value, and doing these assessments is going to be very beneficial to you. So just a couple of things just to recap. Um, we have our February sessions already lined up. Fe- um, Tuesday, February 4th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do have our business model analysis walkthrough. We're going to go through it. We're going to go into a lot more detail. We're going to cover all the elements of a business model. Okay. Basically, everything that you kind of need to know, we're going to walk you through it. We're going to walk you through some of the aspects of you conducting a, a thorough assessment for yourself, and we're going to walk you through how to implement some of these changes. So once you've done your own assessment, what is it that needs to happen moving forward from there? And for those of you who are interested, we in strategy, we do have an upcoming strategic planning um, seminar. It's a 2-day workshop where we're going to cover all the elements of a strategic plan, okay, and how to implement one. And as a bonus, on the second day, we're going to go over how you can create uh, area specific additional service offerings that are going to be extremely valuable to your community and help you stand out in your local market. All right. So thank you guys for joining. And once again, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, give us a like, and share this video to anyone who you think would benefit from learning more about their, how to, what their business model is, how to assess it, and how to implement some of these changes. All right. Thank you all. Have a great day. Take care and God bless.